What's up, Hoop fans? This is Gary with Hobby Lottery, and today we've got an episode of Let's Talk Cards. If you're new here, we do giveaways with almost each video. Stay tuned until the end to see which 4 cards we'll give away today. Also, if you're looking for an affordable way to build your collection, links to repack products down in my eBay store below. Without further ado, today's player of discussion, PJ Washington Jr., aka Pistol, aka 3J. Who is he? He's a 6'7" power forward drafted with the 12th overall pick by the Charlotte Hornets in the 2019-20 draft. Prior to that, he would spend 2 seasons with the Kentucky Wildcats, where he would average 13.7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block per game. His performance in college will earn him such accolades as 2018-19 All-SEC First Team and 18-19 Naismith Award semifinalist. Amazingly, his stats were almost identical in the NBA, where he'd average 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.9 steals, and 0.8 blocks per game in his rookie campaign. It's rare that a rookie maintains his college averages while playing his first year in the NBA. Usually they perform slightly worse while they adjust to the new level of talent. He would also play with decent efficiency, shooting 37% from 3, 46% from the field overall, but only 65% from the foul line. This was enough to land him on the all-rookie second team in a very deep and talented draft class. Fun fact, PJ actually holds the record for most three-pointers made in the NBA debut. He lit up the Brooklyn Nets, making 6 three-pointers in his first game, and he did it in only 3 quarters of play. Now, enough about numbers, let's talk about his skills in court play. The one thing I love most about PJ is his old man's game and post moves. Back him down, bang him up, back him down, bang him up, hit him with the baby hook, put 2 on the board. The back to the basket post game has been close to abandoned in the NBA, but he's very skilled and efficient with it. 3J also knocks down the 3 ball with great consistency and has good range for a stretch big. He also has a pretty quick release where he's able to get his shot off while being heavily contested when people close out on him. He's great in pick and pop and great in pick and roll. While not being too crafty with his ball handling, he can still put his head down, get to the basket, and finish at will. Offensively, he's everything you want your stretch big to be. He just needs to set more solid screens and improve his free throw percentages. He can also improve his playmaking in the post if you want him to be perfect. And though he's very well-rounded on offense, PJ is solid on the defensive end as well, displaying the strength to guard other forwards and centers and the presence of mind to close out on guards without fouling. He also possesses great athleticism combined with his length to protect the rim. The only thing he lacks is lateral quickness, which is common for most bigs in the league. Now that we've discussed his tools of the trade, let's talk about the legacy points. This is my take on the 4 most important factors that contribute to a player's success in the NBA. Number 1, injury history. This all determines if you end up with Grant Hill or if you get LeBron James. They're detrimental to everyone. PJ Washington, fortunately enough for him, he has no major injury concerns. A lot of players that do enter the league somehow, some way tend to get hurt quite a bit. We all see what's happening with Zion Williamson, but it looks like nothing's going to impact him in that category. Now, second, Mamba mentality. Does the player display confidence? Do they even want to be good? This determines if you end up with Andrew Wiggins or if you end up with Kobe Bryant type career. He seems pretty confident to me. Like you look at some players like Mo Bamba, when they first enter the league, their body language just gives it away. They just look like they don't think that they belong there when they do. He seems pretty confident in everything he does. Like when you come out your debut night in the NBA and you knock down 6 3-pointers as a big, this isn't like he was a guard that showed up and started lighting the world up. He just showed up as a power forward, taking 6 3-pointers as a rookie. He seems very confident to me, in my opinion. He's good. When you're posting up in the NBA, you got to be somewhat confident, because it seems like coaches will bench you in a heartbeat if you even attempt to have a back to the basket type of possession. It's considered the most least efficient shot in the NBA is the post game shot and the baby hook. They think it's even more efficient than the mid range. It's basically been completely abandoned outside of Jokic, Embiid, and Nikola Vucevic and a few other guys. So overall, I think he's confident in his skill set and his ability and what he can do, and I don't see him really shying away from the moment or shying away from getting better as a player. Now, my third thing is winning play style and their skill set. So we've talked about his tools of the trade and his play style. In my opinion, this is exactly what any team wants what every team is looking for right now. Every team wants a 6'7", 6'8" guy like a Bam Adebayo who's good defensively, which PJ Washington is. He's not as good with the lateral movement as Bam Adebayo is. However, he more than makes up for that on offense. He has the ability to rebound the ball. He can step out and knock down the three ball with a quick release. He doesn't attempt mid-range jumpers, which no team wants their players shooting mid-range anymore. And he's good at finishing with his back to the basket around the rim. He can catch lobs. He can get put back dunks. He puts his head down. Like I said, no crafty dribble moves or anything like that, but locomotive style, kind of like LeBron or Ben Simmons. He's not that strong, but just put your head down, get to the rim, do what you got to do. 2 points is 2 points at the end of the day. A screen setting, stretch big like PJ is what every team is looking for now, and I think that's more evident than ever, seeing how valuable people like Bam Adebayo are, how valuable Draymond Green has been in the past. And Paul Millsap had some crucial games that got the Nuggets to progress past the Clippers. Let's all remember that, and that's been a comparison to PJ Washington quite a bit. Now, the last thing that's most contributing, probably, this might be the biggest one, is exposure and opportunity. A player can be good, but he may never get the opportunity, and then he may have the opportunity and be good, but he may not have the exposure. So what do I mean by that? Well, he is on the Charlotte Hornets, which is a small market team. The opportunity is there. He's starting. He's getting the minutes. He's getting solid minutes just like a veteran would, which that means he will develop. He's not in a bench role. He's not going to sit there and rot like a lot of other, like your Mo Bambas, your Kevin Knoxes of the world. He's actually in the rotation getting solid playing time to get himself developed and become better. Now, the exposure. This all goes together with the opportunity. This is the biggest thing that's going to impact PJ Washington. That is this draft. So the consensus top 3 picks are looking like Carson Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and James Wiseman. There's a very, very good chance James Wiseman may be drafted by the Golden State Warriors. That's who I personally think they should pick, and I think they may pick him because they do need a big. They got enough guards. However, with that 3rd pick, let's say the Timberwolves pick LaMelo Ball, and let's just say the Golden State Warriors go with and I'm sorry, I believe I said Carson Edwards. Forgive me there. I totally meant Anthony Edwards. Let's say they go with Anthony Edwards. James Wiseman is the consensus 3rd best player in this draft, or top 3. I don't see how the Hornets pass them up, and they actually need a center. If they draft James Wiseman, that may clog the paint, and that may butt heads kind of with what PJ Washington does. Now, with the exposure that I'm talking about, if they get LaMelo Ball, this will probably push Terry Rozier further into the bench role. They'll probably keep going with Devontae Graham, and LaMelo Ball will start as their point guard. If they go with him, they're going to immediately get a lot of primetime slots. The Hornets will become must-see TV in a sense, because LaMelo Ball is going to be hyped up, not only because he's good, but then because of his dad as well, and his mouth LeVar. If they get Wiseman, that's going to be not good at all for PJ, in my opinion. However, they get LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards, they're going to get more primetime slots on TV. One of those draft picks alone may be enough to get the Hornets the 8th seed in the East. And then if they're making the playoffs, that's even better for his growth. Now that we've kind of summed up his legacy points, his tools of the trade, and where he came from, let's talk cards. Alright, and like I say in every video of LTC, you always want to collect who you like, but it's a bonus when who you like happens to be worth money. And I think most sports card collectors and investors would agree that the best way to check a player's pulse in the sports card market is by looking at their base Prism as a PSA 10, their Silver Prism Raw rookie card, and their Silver Prism rookie card as a PSA 10. Now, before we get into some of these prices, I'm going to get into some draft day comparisons for PJ Washington Jr. across multiple platforms. So on draft night, NBADraft.net had a comparison of Carl Landry. What an insult. NBADraft.com had David West and Rodney Rogers. For those who don't know, Rodney Rogers, I think he played multiple years with the Phoenix Suns, was one of the few bigs who could actually knock down the 3 ball with great consistency, and he just had a decent role carved out as a big who could shoot when it wasn't really a thing back in the 90s. David West, also a solid player. Now, Red Cup News, where they do sports evaluations, they had a bigger Jay Crowder. And then Yahoo Sports had Paul Millsap and Marcus Morris. Weirdly enough, with him being a later lottery pick, a lot of the top platforms did not have comparisons. So let's get into some of these. Now, some that aren't on screen. Carl Landry, he's way better than Carl Landry ever was. David West, that is solid. David West, a good lefty. He could bang in the post, had a good mid-range game. However, he was not very athletic. He was kind of stout in the post like PJ Tucker. He had okay strength to play defense, but he really didn't affect shots. Wasn't much of a shot blocker. I think he did average a steal a game. I think he made 2 All-Star appearances as well back with Chris Paul. Overall, I think PJ's way more athletic than him, and then PJ shoots the 3-ball way better than David West. He's definitely a way more well-rounded player than Rodney Rogers. Now, I forgot. One other source had Robert Horry. Go figure there. One of the most clutch 3-point shooters of all time. But let's get into what I've narrowed it down to as well, and also an honorable mention. So first, let's start off. Jay Crowder, a bigger Jay Crowder. Could it be better than that? Well, I mean, you saw in the finals right now, Jay has made some critical plays for the Miami Heat to get him this far, and he's played okay in the finals so far. Defensively, he's good. He's your traditional 3-and-D player. I do think PJ Washington is much stronger than he is, also a better defender, a better challenger at the rim. I think you can evolve a game plan around PJ Washington more. Crowder's not big enough to set screens. That's solid. PJ is actually very strong. He's like 230, 240 for being 20 years old as a rookie. He can body people up, but I don't think he's as well polished. Jay Crowder, I don't think he's as well polished as PJ. I think he's already better than him. I'm feel safe ruling out Crowder. Now, my honorable mention of Serge Ibaka, who was not mentioned by anyone. Started off, Serge was actually very athletic early on in his career. I remember in the dunk contest, he actually took off behind the free throw line by about 6 inches. They only gave him a 48. They robbed him. But just to show you how elite his athleticism was before injuries plagued him. Serge, never much of an offensive guy. He did average about 3 or 4 blocks for multiple seasons in the NBA. One, I think he does have a Defensive Player of the Year under his belt. If not, he does have 2 blocks, leading the NBA in blocks per game. So I think overall, Serge is probably a better defender than PJ was, or could be. Tough to say when he's this young. Serge is just not very good offensively. He did evolve. He can shoot the 3-ball quite well. Never as good as PJ shooting it now. Serge never had a back-to-the-basket game. PJ does. He's great in the low post. And Serge wasn't much of a screen setter, although he didn't have too much because Westbrook and Durant could get their own shots. Although he's had a long and successful career, I think PJ will ultimately be better than Serge Ibaka. Kick this to the side. Now, that leaves us with Paul Millsap and PJ Washington in terms of current day players that match up to his play style. Paul Millsap, solid defender in the post, played key role. He was very slept on through most of this playoff run and most of this season, and most thought he was overpaid, but he did come up big in some playoff moments. Just his heart and his soul for the game. Now, we got to consider when he was in his prime with the Atlanta Hawks, 4-time NBA All-Star, 1 or maybe 2 All-Defensive NBA teams. I know he made it once for sure, and he made the All-Rookie team as well. I can't say the same for Jay Crowder, but I do think Serge Ibaka made All-Rookie. Now, their play styles, both are big, can play some bully ball down low on the block. Both can step out and shoot the 3. I do think Paul Millsap is more of a playmaker than PJ Washington. However, he didn't really develop his playmaking skills until he got to Atlanta. When he was with the Jazz his first few seasons, he was more of just a rebounder and a scorer in the post as well as defender. PJ is not much of a playmaker. He can evolve over time to get that. I do think PJ is more athletic than Paul Millsap. He's probably stronger. Millsap is very strong for his size and height. I do think his stroke from the 3-point line is better. However, he's terrible at free throws at the moment. Paul shoots them pretty well. So let's just say PJ, perfect world, stars align. He becomes the best version of himself. What if it is Paul Millsap? What if it's a 4-time NBA All-Star? 1-time All-Defensive NBA, someone who puts up 18 points a game and about 10 rebounds in their prime while also getting 2 steals, a block, and maybe 3 assists. Not bad at all. You look at the card market at the moment, PJ Washington, his base Prism, you can buy him for under $5 all day long. If you find a big enough lot, you can get him as low as $3 per card. You get that graded as a PSA 10, his base. So this just shows you how slept on PJ is at the moment. He only had PSA 9 comps, and there weren't that many on the eBay solds. They range at about $30. My guess, I think a PSA 10 will go for about $55 for his base. His Silver Prism rookie card raw is going for $30 at the moment. As a PSA 10, it goes for $230, just to show you how much you can just completely compound your investment by getting a PSA slab that's a 10 on the card. So at the moment, he is very buy low. Now let's say he hits his peak, and the way the card market is now, who's to say his Silver Prism won't sell for $70 to $80 raw, and that his Silver Prism can maybe double, triple as well. Star power plays a big role in the card market too. I don't think he'll ever be a superstar, but he'll be he has capability of being an all-star and a great role player. I think he'll truly be valued throughout his stay in the NBA. But he is a very cheap option at the moment. If you want to pick up some slabs of PJ Washington and you're an investor, hey, why not? All rookie second team. I think he's passed a lot of experts' evaluations already this early in his career. So that is my take on PJ Washington, what his cards could be, and how he may evolve as a player. And thank you for staying this. If you made it to the end of this video for the giveaway, we're giving 1920. Of course, they're all 1920 rookie. Oh, they're all rookies. Man, what the heck am I saying? Revolution. This is a fractal. PJ Washington. Also, we're gonna have the blue prism for prism draft picks, the marquee, and the optic base. So down below in the comments, let me know, what do you think of PJ Washington and his potential? Also, I would like to know, do you think his cards are very undervalued at the moment? But for sure, let me know what you think he'll do as a player. Like and subscribe to the channel if you love this content. We do giveaways and we do discussions all the time. Thank you for watching. Keep on collecting. Peace out.